Good afternoon, weight loss warriors. Welcome to day one of Crush Your Sugar Cravings, a 3 day clean eating, no added sugar challenge. And I am Sandra Goldtree, registered dietitian for adult women and men. And I am excited and delighted to have each of you here participating in this challenge. We're going to have lots of fun over the next 3 days. And hopefully, you are excited about eating real food to help you to reset, reboot, and recalibrate your mind, your focus, your metabolism, energy levels, and weight loss. So ultimately, getting you back on track. And not just sugar cravings, but any kind of food craving that you may have. This will help you conquer that and begin the process of taking control over that. And this 3 day challenge is the perfect springboard to get you back on track with your weight loss and to create your personalized plan to get healthier in 2023. And so before we jump in, I just wanted to kind of share a little bit about myself, give a short version of my story regarding weight loss for those of who don't know me. And so I will share and also share why I'm so passionate about real food being medicine for your mind, your body, and your soul. And I'm also convinced that most people struggle with weight, low energy, pain, and overall just not feeling good or not in good health because they truly never understood how to build their meals, their snacks, packed with nutrients needed for their bodies to thrive at its optimal levels, and while at the same time you're still actually enjoying what you are eating. And so, in other words, it's not dieting, it's no extreme restrictions allowed here. So we're going to enjoy it, having food, enjoying food, and hopefully some introducing some new things to you that you have not had. And so these meals are satisfying, they're enjoyable, and they are built and designed to help to control your cravings. Okay, so let's rewind a little bit. And so for me, given the diagnosis of prehypertension, my doctor had advised me to lose 20 to 25 pounds. And on my way out of my appointment at that time, he had given me this sheet of paper with this list of sodium foods or foods that were high in salt and said, hey, you need to avoid these. And so at that particular time, we did not talk about medications, but he allowed me 3 months to try to fix it with how I was eating and exercise, and then we would reassess in 3 months. And so for me, the pressure was on. And this was around 2001. And so I never forget walking out of the doctor's office and I'm going to my car and I'm afraid and I'm scared because that was really the first time that I had ever left the doctor's office with some unfavorable news. And on top of that, I was in denial about losing the weight. And so the gain had kind of creeped up on me little by little, slow, steady, unnoticed. And for a few years, I would say. And then on top of that, I was exercising every day. And so I am proof that you cannot outwork a bad diet. If you're not eating well, then you're still not going to get the results that you're looking for. And so it was like, well, what do I do now? That was the question. Where do I do at this point? And at that stage of my life, I was in the tech industry. So I did not have formal education in nutrition and health and things like that yet at that time. And so I decided to turn to Dr. Google, like we do. Back then, it was just the internet search. And I found some information on the DASH diet. And this was an eye opener for me because it showed me that even though I thought I was eating healthy, that I was unknowingly still eating foods that were high in salt, and they were not the most nutrient rich foods. They were really pretty nutrient poor foods, and it contributed to my weight gain and my blood pressure rising over the years. And so I didn't know what I didn't know. And so it's amazing how it's difficult to connect those dots when you just don't know. And so after 3 long years of trying to lose 20 pounds on my own, I finally reached out for help. And I worked with a dietitian, and this was my first exposure to a dietitian. And based on her direction, she kind of fine tuned how I was eating. And lo and behold, in 3 months, I lost these 20 pounds. And so, and it was and not only just losing the weight, she gave me the information and the tools and strategies on how to keep it off. And so I've been able to keep it off for almost 20 years now. So it you have your ebbs and your flows, but overall, I've been able to keep the weight off, which is a blessing. And then all of this led me to go back to school and get properly trained and credentialed so I can help others to ditch that fear around certain foods and following misguided information that will allow you to quickly lose weight or to gain control over your health condition. Because now nutrition information is way more readily available than it was back then. And so it's a lot of information out there that kind of does lead people down the wrong path. And so my mission is to help you and your family members to not just lose weight, but to keep it off and to manage or prevent any other kind of chronic diseases that you may have, such as blood pressure, diabetes, cholesterol, pain, inflammation, you name it. It's all about the total body that we want to focus on, okay, from a healthy lifestyle and a nutrition approach. So we want to build lifestyle habits. So we want to create a lifestyle of self-care, and that's what 2023 is all about for me. So you'll start hearing me talk more about that motto throughout the year. And so what is the big takeaway message here? I have the same challenges that you. I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I had a career, now I shifted over to entrepreneurship. I have the financial woes and getting older and the stresses that all that brings. So I have to stay intentional, just like I have to ask you all to stay intentional. So it is no different from me other than I'm able to connect the dots. And so that's the piece that I want to help you with. And so I am checking my windows so I can have myself in a position to where I can see your comments. So if you have any comments, please chime in. I see people tuning in. So state your name, post any comments, post any questions. This is the time to ask. So I want to help you through this challenge. I want to make sure that this journey is not just fun for you, but you also is meaningful for you, and that you get something out of this that will last beyond this challenge. Okay. And I want each of you to reach your highest level of nutrition and physical fitness. And that's what it's all about. And I know that each and every one of you are more than capable of doing that. And this challenge is just the first step in doing that. Okay. And so understanding the necessity that eating more fruits and vegetables and less meat is not enough. We gotta take things a step further than that. And so in order to do this, that's where this lifestyle change comes in. And so it has to become a part of our lives. It needs to become something that we look forward to doing on a day-to-day basis. And it doesn't take a whole lot of effort and doesn't take a whole lot of thought. Okay. And that just takes practice. It just takes practice. And this is part of that process of doing that. And I would love for you to stay to the end because there's definitely a special opportunity that I want to present to you for those who are interested in taking a deeper dive with me beyond this challenge. And so in order to create a personalized plan, to promote sustainable weight loss, to get healthier for 2023. And so that you can continue from where we start over these next 3 days moving forward. Okay. And so the agenda for today, we are going to talk about our topic. Our featured topic is how your morning MoJoe impacts or affects your sugar cravings, okay? And some easy satisfying swaps for that MoJoe, okay? So I'm not going to say you can't have your coffee, but we also want to make sure that we have our breakfast, a good breakfast with our coffee is what I really want to emphasize there. Then we're going to take any comments. So throughout this live, post questions, post comments. This is the time to share. So I will kind of look back and forth to see if I see comments and questions, so I can address those while we are live. And then we'll go into the guidebook, and we'll talk about what we have had so far today, and then we'll talk about the meals and snacks leading up to tomorrow's live. And so if you have any questions on any of the meals, any of the snacks, any substitutions, don't hesitate to reach out. Okay, and I will look for those. So we jump in. So I'm going to jump in for the challenge. Okay, I'm going to jump in for the topic for right now. So I'm just looking for comments before I get started. And so again, I see people logged in. So just say hi to me so I can know who you are and know that you're on. All right, and so I always like to post. Let's see here. So are you someone who feels like they cannot function, they cannot start their day without their morning coffee, okay? Or even the afternoon coffee. Maybe you need it in the morning to get started, or you need it in the afternoon to keep you going. So post if you're that person that depends on their coffee in order to function, okay? No shame, no judgment. I mean, it's real, okay? It's real. And you're not the only one if you feel that way. But I have a question for you. Have you ever noticed that the minute or soon after you have that coffee, do you and either to wake you up in the morning or for that afternoon, or to help you with that afternoon slump, do you suddenly crave something? Like, do you feel like you want something else, something sweet or something crunchy or something salty? Like, do you want something else with it to go along with your coffee? So post yes, just simply post yes in the chat if you feel that way sometimes. Okay. And so think about it. Usually people will say that breakfast is their coffee, and then they'll have some fruit with it or some kind of pastry with it. And yes, fruit is a natural sugar, so it does give that level of sweetness or that level of sweet taste. And so this is leading into a coffee study that I like to share with people because it's quite enlightening and quite it's a lot of information that you wouldn't think about. And so it was conducted by Cornell University, and it was published to determine why coffee makes you crave sweets or some kind of dessert. Okay, so there's a little bit of evidence here behind this. And so it's not just about balancing the bitterness of the coffee. And so this study concluded that that caffeine actually reduces our sweet taste perception. Okay, so remember that caffeine actually reduces our sweet taste perception. And so I found this very interesting. And so these researchers, they did a blind study, and this blind study had 107 participants, and they were randomly selected into two groups. And so one group, which is the control group, that had the coffee, around 200 milligrams of caffeine, which is considered a strong cup of coffee. And then the experimental group or the treatment group had the decaf. Okay, now it's a blind study, so that means they don't know which group that they're in. And so the level of bitterness for both groups were the same, and the same amount of sugar was added to this coffee for both groups. And so this blind study, and then so therefore the participants who had the caffeinated coffee rated it as less sweet than those drinking the decaf coffee. Okay, even though the amount of sugar that was added is the same. So that's kind of surprising, right? You would think the opposite is true. So those that had the caffeinated coffee rated it as less sweet than the decaf. Okay, and so neither group in the study could tell whether the coffee was caffeinated or decaf. Okay, so here's a news flash: as many people think that decaf coffee tastes different, or it's weaker, or it doesn't have a better flavor. But if it's the same brand and all the variables are the same boldness, then there is no difference in taste. It's just the caffeine's taken out of it. So the caffeine itself does not have a flavor. So newsflash for you. Okay, and so let me ask you this. So for my caffeine coffee drinkers, so have you ever heard about this study, and did you think that caffeine tasted different? Okay, so post absolutely, because most people do. Most people say, oh, they don't want caffeine or decaf because they think it doesn't taste the same. Okay, almost like diet food, so to speak. And so if you have coffee, there is no difference. There is really no difference in the taste. Okay, but again, as long as all of the variables are the same, they're the same boldness, the same flavor. There is no difference. Okay, so but I want to know if that was a surprise to you. So let's talk about the participants' reactions. Okay, so you have the participants' reactions to this, and both groups claim to have an increased alertness. Okay, now that's something you wouldn't expect either. They both said they had increased alertness, but didn't show any improvements in reaction times. So that kind of calls out the reputation that coffee has of waking you up or giving you this big energy boost. Okay, so it kind of puts that in question, because researchers believe, and I also believe, that there's more of a placebo effect or a conditioning effect, simply for the fact that you're drinking coffee and you know that it has caffeine in it, and we define caffeine as something that's going to pick you up. And so the act of drinking coffee with the aroma and the taste usually followed by alertness. It's usually followed by alertness because you're paying attention, because you have this smell, you have this warm taste. And so participants in this study felt alert even when caffeine wasn't present. Okay, so again, so another result that you wouldn't expect to have. And so are you surprised? We're going to put it here. So type surprised if you are surprised that both groups reported an increased alertness. And remember, this is a blind study. So when it's a blind study, they don't know which one they're drinking. They didn't know if it was caffeinated or they didn't know it was decaf. And so this way we're able to get a little bit more accurate information when they don't know. We can't blame it on a placebo effect. All right, and so let's talk about the conclusion. So let's talk about the conclusion of the study. And so overall, when you drink caffeinated coffee, it will change how you perceive taste. Now, for however long, it depends on how long the effects of the caffeine has on your body. That's different for different people, but it changes your perception of taste. And so if you're eating food directly after drinking caffeinated coffee or even caffeinated drinks like soda, then you will perceive the food slightly differently. And the conclusion for this challenge is that you're not going to need caffeine for that jolt of energy. It's just more for enjoyment. Okay, so I say, hey, still you could have had your coffee this morning with your breakfast. However, know that your energy comes from the food that you're eating throughout the day over a 24 period of time, every day, each day. So that is where the energy, along with rest, along with proper rest. And I will say, if you do drink caffeinated coffee, do cap it at 16 ounces per day. So that's kind of what's considered moderate drinking for coffee. And so as you commit to eating balanced and adequate meals and snacks during this 3-day challenge and hopefully beyond, you will gain a natural, sustainable energy throughout the day. And so you'll have less reliance on caffeine, less reliance on sugar, because it's temporary. It's temporary. You have the perception of, okay, I'm feeling a little better, but then we generally crash a little bit later. And so I know it's difficult for my coffee lovers to imagine, but I see this all the time with my private clients. And so I just kind of sit back and wait and see. And it doesn't take long for them to realize, oh, wow, okay, I really don't need to depend on my coffee. It's more so you just want to have it for enjoyment, not because it's providing you this jolt of energy. It's more so coming from the food, and it's also coming from your rest that you're getting as well. Okay, so I'm just looking to see if I see any comments or any questions, any reactions. Definitely post, okay? And so I'm going to ask, so if there's any questions, I'm just going to say just post throughout, okay? I would like to hear how things are going so far as prepping, when you went grocery shopping and prepping. Some people prep last night, some people prepping during the day today. So share any comments about your grocery shopping experience, whether you did it online, if you went physically to the grocery store, how your meals and snacks have gone so far. So for many of us, you've had your breakfast. I would recommend most people should have needed their morning snack, even though I said in the happy hour that it is optional. It depends on how early your breakfast is, but breakfast was kind of light. And so most of you should have wanted your snack around, a couple of maybe 3 hours later or something like that. And then we have lunch. So some of you have already had your lunch. And so definitely share your comments on breakfast, the snack, and if you had lunch, how did you like the soup? This time of the year, it's cold for many people, not here in Florida, but for many people it's cold. So this is the time of the year when people want to have soups. So let me know. I would love to hear your comments on that as well. Let's see here. Looks like I see a comment. Let's see. Went to Trader Joe's on Sunday and purchased several things that would be easy for me to prepare and consume this week. Awesome. And did you find some of the preparation easy? Because these are easy meals, easy things to prep and to put together. So these are not labor intensive meals at all. So hopefully you all found these meals easy. So let me know if you did or did not. Okay. So thank you for sharing that. And so before we go into the guidebook, I want to set you up to get you set up for the snacks for the remaining of the day. And for tomorrow, I want to share more about what the next steps are after the challenge, okay? Because I want to give you an opportunity to know that there is a next step after the challenge. And you all are going to get first dibs because this is not it's not going to get published till Thursday to the public. So you all are having first dibs to this. So you get the bonuses first. And so if you find yourself struggling with your weight, trust me that you are not alone. This is a good first step, and I'm glad that you are here participating. And so I want to ask you if you're in a situation where maybe the number on the scale has reached a plateau, or you're tired of dieting and you're not really getting success, maybe you lose it but gain it back, or do you find yourself unsure of what you need to eat, when you need to eat, that works best for you in the long run. And so I got your back on this one. And so it's no time like the present to reset and to get your weight loss in a high gear and to recalibrate your energy levels. Many are tired of dieting and they are looking for ways to start a new lifestyle that drastically increases their quality of sleep and their energy levels throughout the day. Because those two things go hand in hand, sleep and your energy levels. They want to end the confusion about what to eat, and they want to have different options. They don't want to eat the same things all the time. They want to have meals, they want to have recipes and things like that. And they also want to have accountability, and they want to have a support system and a support environment that will help them get through those ebbs and flows as well. And so that's what it's all about. And so, and one of the realistic, and you want to have a realistic plan, something that you can follow, something that changes your as your as life changes, because we have things that pop up, we have things that come up unexpectedly, we have these life expected events. And so you still want to find a way to stay on your plan even when things change. So it evolves. So whatever we come up with today, know that you want something that's flexible that will last. Okay. And so here's a quick overview and let me give you a quick overview of what Body Reboot is all about. And so I'm inviting each of you, it's my newly updated 30-day nutrition, weight loss, total body wellness. Is a group program. So this is where we get our group support in a different setting outside of Facebook. We will have a whole different platform that we're on, and it begins on January 26th. You get 4 weeks of live training. We're going to have interactive activities that we're going to implement together to help keep you on track, help you keep you motivated and accountable. Okay. As well as it's a fun and safe environment. Okay. So it's a different environment, and others will motivate you. Others will encourage you as well. And then you will break free from some of those food strongholds that we have. And so that's been hindering you from losing the weight, or from the success of getting a handle on maybe a medical condition that you have going on. So it's all about creating a lifestyle change that will empower you to maintain your lost weight, continue to lose weight, and it's all about reaching your highest level of health. That's really what it's all about. So read more about this one-of-a-kind program, and I am going to put this in the chat because I know you all cannot click on the banner. So let me post a comment here, so you can actually click on that and you can see all the information on there. All right. So, and then I recommend not waiting until the 13th. This is when it opens to the public. So the first 7 people that register, they will get an hour one-on-one session with me during this 30-day program to maximize your results. And so this way we can take things a step further than the group meal plan. I'll be able to personalize things more based on your meds, your medical condition, or things that are specifically going on with you. And so this is valued at $125, and it is complimentary for the first 7 people. So this is something that you can take advantage before it even goes public. And during this talk, we will get a crystal clear vision of your specific nutrition and weight loss path that will work for you. And we will uncover some maybe hidden challenges or some obstacles that's been holding you back from building those healthier eating habits and to lose that weight and keep it off. So we'll kind of come up with some specific goals for you, and you will leave that session with some specific tangible next steps that goes with you in addition to what's going on with the group. So it will just kind of help catapult your results because you'll have a little bit more personalization than I'm able to do in the group. Okay. So definitely take advantage of that. All right. And so post any questions that you have regarding Body Reboot. I'm here to answer anything that you have. And so let's talk about the guidebook. Okay, I think I see a question here. Yes, awesome. Yes, setting aside time is key. It is. And it takes time to do that because we all are busy. We're all overwhelmed, right? And so it's amazing how we have to carve that time and set those boundaries. And it's harder than it sounds. So, but it's doable, but it's very intentional. We have to be very intentional about it, right? So let's talk about the upcoming meals and the upcoming snacks, okay? So remember to refer to the guidebook for more details about each recipe and substitution. So there are lots of information there that already talks about substitutions, as well as the replay from the happy hour, the bonus happy hour that I did on Thursday, that talks about some good practices as well, like when to eat and how many hours you should go between your meals and things like that. And so those are helpful nutritional nuggets that will help keep you from getting too hungry. That's what's going to save you from the uncontrollable cravings. That's what's going to save you from wanting to go through the drive-through. That's what's going to save you from making choices that you don't always want to make in that moment. You just make them because we're not prepared. So those are some good tips to kind of take advantage of. Okay. So get out your guidebook if you have it, and we will talk about what's coming up. So many of you, so like the yogurt and the berries, one of the things we want to do is have breakfast within 2 hours of rising. So that's one of the tips. And then you don't want to go ideally no more than 4 hours without a meal or a snack. So think about how your day is flowing and how things work for you to determine whether or not you need to have a meal or a snack. The snacks can move around. You don't have to have them in the morning like listed here, but I do recommend the afternoon one stays in the afternoon around 3-4 o'clock time frame, especially if you're eating lunch between that, maybe 12-1 o'clock ish. You definitely want to have that snack in the afternoon because that is what's going to save you from going into dinner too hungry. So the morning one is optional. You can either have it in the morning or you can have it later, like after dinner. It just kind of depends on how late your breakfast is, okay? But these breakfasts are they're light. So I think most people are going to want to have a morning snack because these are good breakfasts to get you going, but you'll probably need a little top off before you get to lunch. And let's see here. And so let me see if there's any questions before I move on. Okay. And so the soup, around 2 cups is a serving. And so, and it's a one dish meal. So you have your carbs in there, your lentils. Of course, you have your veggies in there, and the lentils will serve as a plant-based protein as well. So we have a lot there going on. That's why it's important to have that yogurt beforehand, because that is going to give you a higher quality protein as well, and then you'll have more protein at dinner. So your protein is spread out throughout the day. It's just less of it at lunch, but it's still there. It's just less of it. So that's why it's important to space your meals out to make sure that you have that satiety that you need. And then you have the slow cooker meatballs with quinoa. And so this is a slow cooker. So hopefully you either made it yesterday or you put it in the crock pot this morning. Mine is still cooking as well. And then tomorrow we have a different version of eggs. So we have the eggs with the toast. And so enjoy that. If you want to use some of your goat cheese, feel free to do that. If you want to use some of the salsa, feel free to do that. So don't hesitate to do that. You can still make the omelet and then add the toast to it. So that's something else that you can do as well. You don't have to have your toast dry. You can put a little butter on there, something to coat it so it's not dry. If you prefer it dry, fine, but don't feel like you have to. So I want to let you know that. And then we have the almond with apples. So that's a nice combination. If you prefer peanut butter, you certainly can do that. But there's those options are there as well, or any kind of nut butter. Some people use cashew butter and things like that. So you have options there. So if you have any questions on substitutions regarding what to use with your apples, then that's fine. If you don't like peanut butter or nut butter altogether, then you can still use a hummus that's on the plan for tomorrow. Okay, so that's another alternative. And so remember so that's all that I have for you all. So any questions, don't hesitate. Thank you for tuning in. Post in our group as far as pictures, videos, anything. Okay, I would love to hear from you all. I'm trying to post mine as well. So I would love to see what you guys are doing over there. And like I say, check out Body Reboot Blueprint and get all the details. Grab your seat. Remember, the first 7 gets a free one-on-one with me for the 30-day program, which will definitely take you to a whole nother level. I appreciate you tuning in and I appreciate you participating. So I'm looking forward to seeing your photos and your videos. Okay. And so tomorrow we're going to talk about why skipping meals can backfire, and it can increase your sugar cravings and what to do to prevent that from happening. So skipping meals, okay? So that's very important. And so I hope everybody is enjoying this journey, and I will see you tomorrow for day 2. And again, post throughout the day. I'm watching as well as my team is watching, so you will get a response, okay? So have a great rest of your day and be blessed. Bye-bye.